Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for stopping in. My name is Jean and today I have a viewer request. Carla asked me if I could show her how to make the pocket prayer quilts that I make. I couldn't get the sewing machine, everything set up, and I don't have enough cameras and stuff, but I have each piece step by step, so I will just show you how to make it that way. And if you have any questions, let me know. Carla, I hope this works out for you. So normally it's just a little bitty, like this is like 2 by 2 or 1.5, something like that. 1 3/4 square. And then you tack on this on the back, the prayer quilt, prayer. It says, this pocket prayer quilt was made especially for you to slip in your pocket. Throughout the day, when your fingers touch the cross inside the quilt, be mindful of God's love and grace for you. Keep it as a tangible symbol of God's peace. So just a little something for people, going through tough times, need some extra prayers, whatever, something they can tuck in their pocket, in their purse or whatever. So what I use, I'll show you. I have tons of scraps to begin with because I made over 4,000 face masks during that, that time. For hospitals and clinics and stuff like that. So I have tons of scraps, but I found these at Dollar Tree, which work really nice too. And you can use anything, like any kind of material, doesn't matter. But you don't have too much waste with these. These are 2 by 36 inches long, and they already coordinate, so that works perfect. So I use this sunflower one that they had. So I use that. I use my own fabric to back it with. And but I would probably back it with this and use these two for the, I would probably use those two for the front and then back it with the check. So these work really nice if you can find those at your Dollar Tree. They've only had the 2 patterns, so that's all I can find. And then for my crosses, well, I keep a stash of crosses. You can get these, I believe I got off of AliExpress. These are just plastic. They're like a plastic. Let's see if we can get those up there close enough. All different colors, so you can get just these 2 to put inside, or of course you can get your metal crosses. So little metal charms, whatever you have. I just keep them all in here together for when I need to make some. So these were really the inexpensive. So if you're making a lot of them like I did, these work perfect. Okay, I will link that if I can find these crosses at AliExpress. I bought those quite a while ago, during that time. But I will link those. Okay, so Carla, I hope this helps out. Carla, I'm sorry I couldn't actually sew, but we'll work on this together. So first you need to cut 2 strips, and these can be as long as you want. When I made them, I made long ones, then you just cut off of them. I just got some short pieces here. So there you need 2 strips that are 1.5 inches wide, okay, by as long as you want. And you want 2 different patterns. Okay. So then you're going to sew these together. You're going to put them together, and you're going to sew them together. You're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. So you got sew it together. You're not going to be able to see it. You're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. Then you're going to take and press it to one side. So you can see how I have it all pressed to one side. Okay, so this is what you have now. So you got the 2 strips. Put these back out. You got the 2 strips, and we turned them into one like that. Then you're going to take this and you're going to cut them down. You're just going to cut them down to 1.5 inch pieces. Okay, so 1.5 inch pieces, Carla. And then you are going to have these. So like I said, depending on, I would sew this whole, 36 inch strips together and then just cut a whole bunch, and I make a whole bunch at once. But you could just make one at a time if you want. So then you have this. Now you're going to take them. You want the patterns on the opposite side. So you want the patterns on the opposite corners. And you're going to fold them together. And now you can see that your seam goes this way, and on this side it goes this way. You're just going to match this all up, and they're going to butt right together, and you can kind of see how nicely that I'm no quilter, but I can do this. And you're going to see how that goes. And then you're going to sew down another 1/4 inch seam. So then you have, I'm going to try to keep these out for you to see. And then you have this. This is what you have next. Okay. So then, because you might not sew like me, I don't sew perfect, so your seams may be a little bit more, a little bit less than 1/4 inch. I do not cut this until afterwards. Then I measure my square. Then I know how much to cut, because I'm not perfect. Sometimes it's a little bigger, sometimes it's a little smaller. So then you're going to cut, I just cut a coordinate. I found this in my stash and it coordinated really well with the blues in here. And we're just going to put it together on the opposite side. And then we are just going to cut or sew another 1/4 inch around, leaving it open. So I have that shown here. So you're just going to start here, sew around, and stop. You're leaving a little opening here. Okay. And then you will turn that inside out. You can pink it if you want with a pinking shears. You don't have to. Just cut the corners. I just showed you. You can do that if you want. I usually don't most of the time. I just clip my corners. So just turn it inside out. And I take, you don't want something with too pointy of an end. So I take, using my bone folder, turn that, get my corners nice and crisp if you can. Don't worry about it. Now I just snipped that too far. Then you're going to turn in your seams. I'm doing this like without my iron, so it's not going to be perfect. Don't judge me, because I would normally have my iron down here and I would iron this part. So you're going to go ahead and turn your seams inside. Put your cross inside. So put your cross inside now, okay? So you have this. Then you are just going to top stitch all along the edge. So that would be, you can see, find a piece where you can see. So just top stitch all along the edge now, and you'll be closing that seam shut. And your cross is inside, and you have that. Then I just take a little piece of baker's twine and I go through the middle on an angle. I go through the middle and I just tie a little knot. You can tie a bow if you want, but I would take and put a little dab of glue if you did a bow. Just, my bows always unravel because they're not going to stay tight enough when people are rubbing and playing with them. I just take and do a really good knot, and then I kind of shush the little ends, fray the little ends here. For the ends, and then you have that. And then you would get these little pins. You can get these little pins anywhere, and then just clip that onto the back, and you give it to them like this, and they will take the prayer off when they put it in their pocket. And that's how you give it to them. Now you can make these bigger. You can take this same technique and say you want to make a pillow, a pillowcase, like so. Just kind of measure your pillow and figure out what size your squares need to be, and do the same technique as you did, just larger. So whatever size you want to make. If you want to make a full quilt, that's not me. But if you want to make a full quilt, you can do the same thing, and you can make, you know, a full quilt out of it. But I gave a lot of these away during, you know, that couple years there, and with the masks and stuff. So it was a busy time. I was doing a lot of sewing and stuff, but a lot of people really like having these, and it's a little comfort for them, and it's easy. And then I iron mine at the end, but just when you're ironing, if you're putting the plastic cross in, just move the cross. Don't iron on top of the cross, not on these plastic ones. And I just move it aside, and I iron that side, then I move it, and then iron the opposite side. So and they go through the wash fine. I don't know that many people really wash them, but I always keep a whole bunch on hand in case people need them. And whoever asks for one, I'm glad to give one out to. I have a lot. So Carla, I hope that helps you. And if you have any questions, please make sure you leave it, comment and I will get back to you, but they're very simple to make. And I will keep these pieces if you're ever back in a live again with me, and you need me to go over it again, we will go over it again. But it's very simple to make. All right, guys, I hope this helps anybody else who wants to make one of these. I'm not a quilter. I do some sewing, but I'm not a quilter by any means. And this was easy for me to pick up and do. So, all right, guys, thanks again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.